Myself, Nadeem Daniel. I live in Alwal, and I've been coming to this church since 2012. Um, Something exciting thing is we met in 2017 June 5th, and we started. We didn't know that we're gonna marry. When I met her first time, then I took some time, 1.5 2 months. Then pastor used to encourage us about how to prepare. Um, when you are about to marry and when you are preparing to get married. So that helped me a lot. Then finally God came through. Everything went well, and recently we celebrated 4 years of our wedding anniversary, and God is so good, and we literally see the hand of God in our life.
Yeah. So, hi, I'm Libera. So, I've been coming to King's Temple from 2017. It's like from the time I got married to Nadeem. So, this is my home church. I'm so happy being part of this church. So, we met in June, as he said. We finished 4 years. It's an exciting journey that started off in 2017 and it continues. So, we got married, and obviously, everybody after you get married, that's the first thing, when you're going to have children. But we knew that coming from a different faith, we understand the fact there's something to do with our generation, and there's something that we are set apart to bring out a generation that will stand out. And as parents, we are called to parent in a different style. It's very firmly is what we believe. And when we decided to have children, we knew that we had to wait and prepare. So we took some time off, and then we decided to wait. When we were ready and we knew that we were going to have children, we started praying, and at the right time, I felt pregnant. But when the C-section was done, and then they said it's a boy, like in my heart I knew, like, because we already like thought of a name. I said Joshua Chayil is born, because I knew the warrior, like Joshua Chayil is born. And then they showed the baby and they took the baby away, and I said okay, the baby will come. But it was so hard, because first of all I was alone. I had my brother, but having a husband is totally different. And then they're not even giving the baby to me, and they've been telling there's nothing wrong with the baby, just the breathing, it's normal. In that moment, I didn't know what was happening. I was in a shocker in my mind, but I knew God was at work. But deep inside my heart, you can hear other moms holding their babies, and then you can hear the cry. It was so hard thinking, why am I not able to hold my baby? It was really very tough thinking that moment. Where is this child? And then they said he's in the ICU. He's here. He's there. They were not giving any information at all. Then my brother came, and then he said, "Do you want to see the picture of the baby? Or do you want to see the baby in real?" Because we didn't know all this has happened. Then I said, no, I don't want to see the picture. I want to see him in real. Then he said, okay, you wait. But I didn't get to see him at all. He was moved to another hospital altogether. You come in the background. When he was born, he had breathing issues, is what they said. And they wanted to keep him under observation. And then throughout the night, they diagnosed that he had an issue called TAPVR, where the blood from the lungs is not reaching the left side of the heart. And then they diagnosed that, and then for that he has to undergo an immediate surgery. And this happens one out of 10,000 cases, and actually it's not even identified. The baby dies, but miraculously it didn't happen with our son. And when we first went, we could only see pipes, and I was not even sure if the baby was there. They were only pipes. There was a tiny face, because he was in ICU, but even in the ICU he was in isolation, so you can't even go close. They were all pipes. I didn't know what pipes were for. I was not sure. But only face I could only see his tiny face. I never saw him with open eyes. I don't know. I can't see a son just filled with pipes. It was so hard, because I just cried, and I said, in my heart deep within, I said, Lord, this is so hard. This is so hard to see. I don't know how long it's going to be, but it's so hard to see a baby. You can't even say if the baby is feeling pain, and he's lying there with pipes, and I don't know what's happening, because he can't even express if it's anything is paining. It was so hard, and he said, don't cry. And I said, it is very tough for me as a mother. And then we just stood and we laid our hands on the glass, and we just released whatever we can. And we told that baby, saying, we love you, because the baby has to know that the baby is loved. Because I don't want the baby to feel abandoned, especially the initial days that he's born. And we stood and we laid our hands and we said, we are waiting for you. That's what he said, this is not your place.
Yeah.
This is not where you belong. You need to come home. And we just prayed and we walked out. I write, and I know the love language that I have is writing. So I know that my child knows my love language. So when they asked that, you can start giving breast milk, and we were giving, I felt I need to write. And then every day, whenever the bottles used to go, I used to write. I used to write his name, and I used to tell him that there is a God who's working. And I used to tell him that, we are waiting for you at home. Because the child has to know there's a family that he belongs to. So we wanted that to be known to the baby. So I used to write letters and I used to send it. But for my surprise, it was such a surprising thing that the nurses read the letter to the boy. It was such a because we got the letters back when they gave us all the slips and the medication and all. They gave the letters back to us.
By then, I took almost 3 to 4 times the COVID test. I was repeatedly was showing positive. So somehow I was so frustrating, because she's in her brother's place, I'm here, and somehow we wanted to see our baby. So it's been 5 days we didn't see our baby, and I took the bold step. I took the test again, and somehow it showed negative, because I know people were praying for me, and I was believing, I was standing for on the word. During that season, first thing what I did, I figured out the people where I need to update what was going on and what's happening. So first thing I started adding people like Pastor Merlin and associate pastors in our church, Pastor Sam, Pastor Deepak, and even Pastor Matthew, and life group members. And I spread my think what's going on, and I believe, because there is a victory in prayer. So first thing what we did was we raised the prayer to pray, intercede for our son. They started doing that. So after that, the floods of encouragement, everyone was just sending a message stating, "Don't worry, God definitely gonna come through, because He is the God of faithful. He has come so far. He will take you further. So stay strong. Don't give up. The word will definitely work." So during that time, we were just listening messages like, again, one of the favorite series of our pastor is Empowered to Conquer. There's something gives me a kind of a strength, every time I hear. So I used to confess, because she was in her brother's house and I was alone. I was quarantined and I was confessing that particular scripture. And especially, Pastor Merlin, she used to check with me not only about son what's happening, and she was checking on me like how are you coping, the things, what kind of a medicine that you are taking. And she was encouraging me, don't worry, we all there for you, we are praying for you. Even Pastor Raj as well, I called him that this is what happening, and don't worry, we are praying for you, we are standing for you. And literally, that is the strength we could feel that we are in the valley, but literally we have that confidence that God definitely come through. Just matter of time. And doctors told, this baby we operated day 2, okay, and this is the youngest baby that we operated. And in order to see how it works, it takes minimum 45 days. So let me tell you, when we put that prayer mantle and when we sowed the seed and we were praying and even church were praying, things started moving. 17th or 18th day, they shifted from NICU to general ward, and after 3 days, they discharged. 21 days, baby was out, hale and healthy. God literally came through, and as a church, as a family, they stood with us in prayer, in encouragement, and even in kind of a moral support, I should say, because we don't have family, like physical family to say, she has brothers, but to call mom and dad. But obviously, in our church, first mom and dad are there, and literally, I believe firmly that, more than a physical parents, the spiritual parents part matters a lot. So that happened with us.
He's a warrior because his name is Chayil.
So if you can actually say it in a sentence, if you want to give it a proper title, what would the title be?
A warrior is born. So this is Joshua Kyle Pamidi, the boy that we've been talking about. This is the son and the living miracle that God has blessed us.